Taliban-Iran relationship has been very shaky since 1990s. Both Taliban and Iran were about to go to war actually during 90s when Taliban were first in power. And the issues were immense. It was the conflict were mainly due to the ideological differences, of course, but also the fact that the two countries, the two parties, the Taliban and Iran, were never agreed on some security framework for the borders. Even at that time, and the second time when the Taliban in power now. So the relationship has been shaky since 1990s, but Tehran actually supported Taliban at some point by providing them weaponry support. And also at this particular time, in the recent time, and it means from last 3 years, Tehran supported Taliban in different platforms. Tehran gave actually platform to the Taliban soon after the Doha Agreement was signed. And Mullah Brother was invited in Tehran by the high delegations, welcomed by Tehran. So the relationship seemed to be fine before this particular conflict, water conflict. And Iran was a supporter, and Taliban, on the other hand, looking at Iran as a road path, as a path towards governance, because of the ideological similarities in the shape of the being strictly Islamic, both the countries, and implementing Sharia law, especially Taliban. They used to see Iran as a guideline for their governance in Afghanistan. I'm talking about the recent time. But this particular conflict, and there were other, by the way, there were a couple of other conflicts also over the border from last 2 years between the two parties, between Iran and the Taliban authorities at the border areas. So the border issues were there, and there are two reasons behind that. First, I think there's a technical reasons behind this border conflict, because Taliban lack capabilities and abilities to manage borders. And this border conflict is not only with Iran, it's with Tajikistan, it's with Pakistan, it's with most of the neighboring countries. So Taliban lack that regulatory framework in order to manage border conflict and crisis. That's why it gives rise to the border issues again and again with different countries in the region, especially with Iran as well. In the term of, and the underlying issues are drug trafficking, human trafficking. They are actually the causes that give rise to the border conflict. And on the other hand, there are political reasons too. The two parties seems to demonstrate power, demonstrate force, and Iran want to show that, well, it can manage security well, and it cannot let Taliban to cross any limits at the border. And on the other hand, Taliban want to demonstrate the same, that they are sovereign, they can protect their borders, and they are there, they can enforce by force any mechanism that they have. So it's demonstration of power from both ends, which makes sometimes the diplomatic engagement hard to process, because both try to talk and negotiate and discuss from the position of power. And from many other cases from around the world, we see that when the parties discuss from position of power, and they don't negotiate well, and the negotiation fail at the end. So that's a power demonstration also from both the parties. And on the other hand, there are differences, of course, ideologically as well between the two parties. Iran is a Shia majority country, and Taliban are a Sunni majority group, Sunni group actually by nature, and they are enforcing Sunni sect in the country. So there are also kind of ideological differences which relates to Shia versus Sunni. And that is not really prominent at this stage, but that is one of the underlying ideological issue between the two parties that was there, because Afghanistan has a Shia community and Shia population that Iran think it's a guardian and protector of that Shia population in Afghanistan. So that issue has been always there as well, and has something to do with the relations and dynamics between the two parties.